My guest today is Nicky Billou, an international best-selling author of 7 books and the host of 2 podcasts, the Thought Leader Revolution podcast and the Sovereign Men podcast. He says he's been called the Napoleon Hill of the 21st century. Welcome, Nicky.
Thanks for having me, Jen. Great to be here.
Absolutely. Before we get into what you do and be Napoleon Hill, can you tell us who is Nicky Billou?
I'm actually originally an immigrant from the Middle East. I'm a Christian from Iran. When I was 11 years old, the Islamic Revolution took place in Iran, and my late father, God rest his soul, could see the writing on the wall. This was not going to be a place to raise a Christian family. So he made a plan and he executed it. And we got out of Iran, and eventually we settled where I now live in Toronto, Canada. And at the time, I didn't want to leave my home. I mean, I was 11. These were my friends that were there. But looking back, it was the single greatest thing my dad could have done for our family. He took our legacy from tyranny to freedom. And for me, why that's powerful is because it made me appreciate and love freedom. I think God has put inside all of us a deep love for freedom, a desire to be free. And much of the world, much of human history, people have not been free. So coming to live in the West and experience that was a wonderful and beautiful thing. And it's one of the things that got me to be so much of a champion for entrepreneurs, because freedom is the bedrock, which allows for free expression, which is in itself the bedrock that requires to be in place for us to have free enterprise. Without free enterprise, you can't have a business. You can't go out there and create the life that you've imagined and you've dreamed of doing. So that really, in a nutshell, is the intellectual underpinnings of what I do. And my father was an entrepreneur. He was the greatest man I've ever known. He's the kind of man that would literally give you the shirt off his back. If he knew you and you were looking for work, he would sit you down in his office and make phone calls until he found you a job. And if you were trying to start a business, he would help you start that business. He'd find you mentors, capital, even clients. And that's how he was. And if you were trying to buy a car or a house, you didn't quite have enough money, Dad would give you the balance. He'd call it a loan, but he'd never ask for any of the money back, and nor would he accept it if you tried to pay him. And people love my father. I mean, to this day, people come to me and tell me stories about what he did to help make their lives better. I wanted to be like that. I wanted to be somebody that was respected and loved, and somebody that other people looked up to. And so I wanted to become an entrepreneur, because I think entrepreneurs, outside of people in the military or law enforcement, who literally fight and bleed and even die to keep the rest of us free, entrepreneurs are the greatest people in our world. Every good thing in our society happens because an entrepreneur had a vision and a dream. So
Yes.
yeah, I'm all about serving entrepreneurs. That's me. That's, in a nutshell, my story.
Okay, all right. So thank you for sharing that. And not everyone who've had your background, or even lesser background, more serious backgrounds, are able to launch a business, a 6-figure business, and be an example to entrepreneurs. So tell me where that drive come from. Did that come from your dad, or was there something else? Was there a turning point?
Well, like I said, my backstory, I think, explains exactly why I decided to get into business and what I wanted to do. I also wanted to be somebody who was able to build a legacy for himself and his own family, right? So that's why I got into business. And I'm in the business of helping business owners. There's so many business owners who are great people, but they don't have a lot of belief in themselves. Their mindset isn't strong and rock solid. And I had the good fortune many years ago of working with a couple Olympic champions. I mean, I'm sure you'll remember their names: Donovan Bailey, the great Donovan Bailey, and also Mark McCoy. They ran for Canada in the 100 meters and the 110-meter hurdles. And I learned from these guys how to think like a champion. And so I wrote a book. That was my very first book. And I'll just pull it out for you. And this is it. This is the first edition of my first book, Finish Line Thinking: How to Think and Win Like a Champion. And it's all about what is it that has some people think like gold medal athletes and win that way, and other people not. And this slim volume showed you how to do it, along with some how-tos, tips, and tricks. And boom, this thing has allowed so many people to win, and to win big. And I love this book. And this book has helped over 10,000 people create lives that they love and create powerful lives that they're excited about living. And then after I wrote this book, I decided to do a second edition of it. So I did the second edition. And in the second edition, we expanded a little bit and really got deep into some of the characteristics that champion thinkers have. So I've been teaching this to people inside of the work that I do. So if you're an entrepreneur or business owner, let's get your mindset rock solid first, And I had a client, as an example, who was broke, absolutely broke. He was destitute. He came to me and I said, okay, let's do this for you. And he said, well, but I failed at everything. I said, failure is one of the principles of success. If you want to succeed, you got to fail. You got to fail fast. You got to learn. So this fellow and I worked together, and within a year, he failed a couple of times. We built him a 6-figure business as an architectural photographer. And it was a beautiful thing, from having no money. That's the power of having the right mindset, the mindset of a champion, the mindset of a winner.
Okay. So finish line thinking, is that like begin with the end in mind?
Well, it's think like a gold medal athlete. Think like somebody who wins rather than someone who loses.
Okay. All right. Got it. Okay. How can you position yourself as a branded thought leader so that your ideal clients come to you?
Well, that's a great question. And, it's the subject of another one of the books I wrote, which I'll pull out for you in a second here. This book is called The Thought Leader's Journey. And it's a story of someone who's working in a job and wants to start their own business. It's a bit of a fable. And in here, we start to delve into, well, what people need to do. Well, the first thing is you got to get rid of any head trash you have, because doubt kills. If you don't believe in yourself, if you doubt yourself, you're gonna fail, and you're never gonna succeed. So you got to do that. And the second thing you got to understand is you need to have a unique message. You have to not sound like everybody else, right? And for you to have a unique message, you've got to be thinking not about you, but about them. It's not about you, it's about them.
Right.
Who are the people that you're looking to help? What are the big problems they have? You first got to come up with the problem that they have, right? Then you got to have an outcome that they want instead of the problem. And then you have to have a solution to that problem that'll give them the outcome. So problem, outcome, solution. That really is the trinity which people need to use in order to become successful. And that's what I teach people how to do, how to get clear about who they help, how they help them, what about their expertise makes them somebody who can do that, and then use that in order to become somebody who actually attracts clients who care about having those problems solved. That's the
Yes.
power of being a thought leader. And that's the journey you need to go on, because experts are a dime a dozen, right? Everybody and their brother and their sister is an expert these days. Nobody cares. What they care about is how can you help them?
Okay. Thank you. And I would assume that a thought leader, a podcaster, is a thought leader, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, a thought leader is someone who's thought deeply about certain issues. I mean, just because you have a podcast doesn't mean you've thought deeply about anything. There's a lot of people who have podcasts who like to talk about things. That doesn't mean that they have anything valuable to say. So somebody who's thought deeply about issues can definitely be a podcaster and a thought leader at the same time, but the two aren't the same. Thought
Okay.
leaders
Sorry.
thought leaders are doers. Thought leaders are champions for their fellow man and woman.
Okay, thank you. I guess I asked that question because the podcasters, the aspiring podcasters that I've talked to, that's their mindset. is that they don't call it thought leader, but that's what they're doing. They're actually trying to come up with a solution from what they do that will help someone else. Yeah.
Well, it's good to try, but you can try to win an Olympic gold medal. You still aren't an Olympic gold medalist. You actually have to win the Olympic gold medal. So you can
Right.
try to come up with solutions, but until you come up with solutions and you've proven them and that those solutions have actually helped people and people are interested in you because you've had solutions that help other people, you're not a thought leader.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So, how can you become a salesperson, a very good salesperson, without being salesy? Because I guess in business you have to sell, right?
You do. My father used to say, life and business are not about money, they're about people. And I thought he was bang on. And he is bang on. If you want to be effective at growing your business, you need to care about people more than you care about your commission or your bank account. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't get paid. You absolutely should get paid. But it's really about having the mindset of focusing on being of service. If you're of service, then you're not going to be a pushy salesperson. You're going to be a service driven heart leader. And that's really what it's all about. And a lot of people don't like the word sales because, sales gives them connotations of, oh my God, that pushy guy, that pushy gal. I don't want to be like her. I don't want to be like him. But if you're coming from the point of view of wanting to make a difference for somebody, then it's okay. Here's a beautiful quote in sales. In sales, you can only close as hard as you care. So you can only
Mhm.
really close someone hard and tell them you need to do this as hard as you care. If you don't care for them very much, you won't be able to close very hard. If you care for them a great deal, you'll be able to close hard. And that's important to understand and be able to utilize as a successful business owner.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. Tell us about Circle Academy. What is it and what does it do for your clients?
The Circle Academy is almost like a hall of justice for superheroes, right? So we're looking for entrepreneurs because they're great people. They're superheroes in my world. And it's a place where you can come and, exercise and grow your superhero powers so you can really serve a lot more people, have a bigger impact in the world and make a lot more money. That's what we're all about. We want to get people a wonderful return on investment. They invest time, they invest money, they invest energy. And I think every good person with real expertise should be making at least $500,000 to $2 to $5 million a year. And that's not possible by themselves. You can't do it alone. You need to be a part of something where other people are there because you draw energy from the group and the group draws energy from you. You also need to be led by people who care about people and have the right tips and strategies to allow you to do the right things to get the results that you want. eCircle Academy is all about showing you how you can be that person, how you can be a thought leader, a heart-driven individual, and you can make a big impact on people and make a lot of money by standing out as the go-to person in the area where you have the most expertise. And that's a beautiful thing from my point of view. It's a beautiful thing. That's why I love doing eCircle. We got a mission right now called Mission 40. Mission 40 is we're looking for 40 entrepreneurs who want to add, anywhere from 50 to 100,000, 200,000, $250,000 to their annual income. And we want them to come join hands with us and over that we got this program called 60K in 60 days, where over a 60-day period, you're going to make, $60,000, 20,000, 40,000, 60,000, 80,000, 100,000 extra over and above what you're already making. And we're looking for
Okay.
Mission 40. We're looking to help 40 people do that. We're very excited about this.
Okay. All right. So, in that vein, how can we get in touch with you? And I always ask for your details because somebody might be listening to the podcast and may just switch over.
The
Yeah.
best thing to do is I've got a calendar link and you go to ecircleacademy.com/appointment. That's ecircleacademy.com/appointment. And just say you were listening to the show and you want to have a conversation and pick a time and fill out the form that I ask you to fill out. It's a bit of an application form. Just want to make sure we're talking to serious people here. And I'm going
Hmm.
to give you a 45-minute coaching conversation absolutely free of charge. And let's get you started and let's have you be part of Mission 40. Let's have you add an extra, 50, 100, 200,000, $500,000 to your annual income.
Okay, all right. That sounds very good. And we'll put that link in the show notes. So what is Nikki grateful for today?
Well, that's a great question. Every day I go through this practice of gratitude. And what I'm grateful for is actually earlier this year, I made a decision to get back into top shape. I used to be an athlete. I was in top shape, but I gained a bunch of weight. So I'm grateful that with God's help, I was able to drop from 227 to 170. So that's wonderful.
Ooh, awesome. I'm about to embark on that journey as well. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. All right. So before I let you go, give an aspiring podcaster, because we cater directly to podcasters. Give an aspiring podcaster a couple pieces of advice. You're not restricted. Just talk as freely as you want to help them create the right mindset when they're starting their podcast, because that's a difficult point.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the best piece of advice. Buy my
Okay.
book, Finish Line Thinking. It's 42
Okay.
pages. There are 2 exercises in there that are all about getting the right mindset to achieve a big goal, like getting your podcast going.
Mm-hmm.
This book is like $15. Make the investment, splurge. You know what I mean? Get a copy and do the exercises. Those exercises will take you there and get you going. And the second piece of advice I give you is start recording episodes and never stop. That's how you get good at podcasting. You got to be willing to be bad at it first.
Amen to that. Thank you, Nicky Billou, for coming and speaking to us today. Any parting shot?
Remember, you're a child of God, and God intends for you to have the best possible life. And you are meant for great things. You are not meant to be ordinary. You are not meant to lose. You are meant to win. Believe in that. Believe in yourself and step forward, because if you take one step forward, God will take 10 with you. Always remember that.
Awesome. That's the best advice. I appreciate you.
You bet.
Thank you.